Hey everybody, I'm Joe. Welcome back to the shop. Today we have a pretty interesting little lathe project. I'm going to make a long tap follower so I can run some big taps. But before we get started, I'd just like to thank everybody for their support. Thank all my subscribers. I really appreciate it. So with that, let's get started. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pretty much duplicate this, which is the standard tap follower, but I'm going to make it a lot longer. So what I've done is I've selected some A2 drill rod from my stash here. I got a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch, and we're going to turn some pieces here, basically just scaling this up. And I got some suitable springs. This one goes with here. Got some suitable springs here that we're going to try out of my spring collection. And got the set screw for the end. Now the only difference that I'm going to do here is I hardly ever use this hollow end. This is for small taps, and that's what I will use this existing tap follower for. But when you want to turn, you know, something like this, it's great to have a lot more throw to the follower, so that's why I'm going to scale it up. This one here only has about, well, I guess about a 1/2 inch of distance, you know, from where it bottoms out to where it'll extend all the way. This length here is about 2 inches. And I'm going to try to get as much as I can. I don't think with the springs I have that I'm going to quite be able to get 2 inches out of this, but I'm going to try to get as much as I can. I know I can get at least 1 inch out of it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to turn this piece here, which is you know, 1/2 inch on the OD. It's got a little knurl on it. It's got a little taper on it. And then we got to make this piece here, which is I think it was 187. Yeah, this is a little bigger than what I have here. 311, 312. I do have a piece of 3/8 here. This is A2 as well, so I'd probably turn this down. I don't know, we'll see what we come up with, but that's the plan. So follow along on the lathe with me, and we'll make a tap follower. Alright, first thing we're going to do is part this thing off to a little longer than 4 inches. And we're trying something new here with the camera. Powered anti-shake. So you're riding on the compound right now. See what happens. I'm just hand feeding this, run at like 200 RPM. This is a 1/16 high-speed steel cutoff tool. And I gotta tell you, this piece of drill rod isn't very straight. But I'll show you how to make it straight. There we go. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is face this off and put a center in the end of it. Come on out of there. My collet's a little tight. This thing's a little oversized. It's about 502 thousandths. So the collet's kind of grabbing it a little bit, but okay, this end we will not chamfer because this is where the taper is going to be. So we'll get a center drill in here and we'll do it. Okay, so next we're going to cut a taper on this thing, and this is what we're going to try to duplicate here. A little more. This is not critical, it's just kind of aesthetic, so it really doesn't matter. Well, we'll make it like the original. Okay, we're there. Now we'll start setting up for drilling. What I have to do is drill this down, but not all the way, and then put a smaller hole in the end for the pointer. Alright, we've got to drill in 3.5 inches, and I'm going to use the tailstock DRO to do it. This is a Q drill for a 3/8 by 24 set screw. Alright, as long as we're here, let's run a chamfer through up to this thing and make it nice and pretty. Okay. Let's get set up for tapping here. Okay. So when I'm doing this, I'm going to power tap it. And just going to kind of guess at the depth. Got the lathe slowed way down. And I've got the tailstock unlocked so it'll just slide forward. And you gotta tighten up that collar chuck more, Joe. And we'll get the tap wrench out and finish it up that way. See how far the set screw will go in. All right. good. I'll turn it around now and drill the other side of it, and then this part will be done. Okay, just gotta make a few measurements here and I'll be back with you. Okay, let's spin this thing up to about 550. Got a 3/16 drill in here. Okay. Alright, we're done here. Now we'll turn the centerpiece. Okay, there's the body of it. So you got to turn the little centerpiece, which will be looking something like this, except a little longer. Okay, I've got a number 1 center drill here in the chuck, and I'm just going to put a small little hole in here so we can run our concentric center. Alright, get the center in here and we'll pull this out a little ways and we'll start turning it down. Okay, so for those of you that may not be familiar with this kind of a center, this is called a concentric center, and it's great for turning small things. It's got a Morse taper 2 shank on the end to fit in the tailstock, and it's a ball bearing live center, but it's spring loaded, so that when you apply tailstock force to it, you'll compress the spring, and that is what holds the center into the hole. But the other advantage of this is if your part heats up and expands, it won't bind. This will push back in. There's a very strong spring in here, and it's great for turning little small things like this, as I'll show you. Okay, so now you can see how this is going to work. As I push this in, you can see right there I'm loading up the spring. Now you don't want to bottom it out, so it's like halfway right there, and you lock the tailstock. So now we're ready to start turning. Okay, so we got our next piece in here, and I've roughly marked out where we're going to cut. And we're going to leave the center diameter here alone, and we're going to cut down here. Got to take off a little less than 100 thou, and same over here, and then the point will be on this end. Okay, we're ready to start cutting here. Okay, so I got this tool set up. We're going to be cutting the other way up to this shoulder. And let's get going here. Okay, I got this thing about as close as it's going to get. So what I'm going to do is part it off here, and then I'm going to stick it in my small chuck that I'm going to mount in my 4-jaw chuck, and I'm going to turn this diameter, and I'm going to put a point on this end. And we should be done at that point. Just time to assemble it. I measured the hole I drilled in this, and it's about 190. So this is about 189. This is about 187. It took many spring passes and then some filing to get this taper out of here. Obviously this end, is much more rigid than way out here. So yep, that's the plan here. Okay, we got this set up here. I got my 4-jaw, and in my 4-jaw I got my small 3-jaw, and I dialed it in here. It's running within a thou, and then I got the workpiece in here, and I'm just gonna clean up this end that we couldn't get to because the center was in there. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it is a 30-degree. Okay. Okay. Let's see how this all fits together. Okay. Got all the pieces made here. Let's see how it goes together. Let's see. Need a pusher. Oh yeah, it's great. So, since this is W1 tool steel, I'm going to try to harden the point on the end of this thing. So we'll see over at the torch. Okay, I got some water in this little square thing here. And I got my map torch, which I think ought to heat this up pretty good because it's pretty small. So, let's go. Okay, what I'm going to do now is draw this down a little. Let me get to the grinder there, or the buffing wheel there, Scotch-Brite. Polish this up so we can see the color, and I'm going to temper it to a straw color. So I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, I got it reasonably clean, and just going to grip it lightly here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it up down here, and I'm going to watch the colors as they go up, and when it gets to be straw colored up on this end, up here, I'm going to quench it again. So here we go. Okay, and we got a nice straw color on the end of that. So that should be it. It should be around Rockwell 50 now. And I'm just going to clean it up again and put it in the thing. Okay. What I did is I left the tempering colors on there. I thought it looked a little cool. So I threw some oil on it. And here's the one we copied. It's got about a 1/2 inch depth of travel here. And here's the Cuppa Joe version. It's got a slightly stiffer spring. It's pretty hard. I tried to file it, I couldn't file it. So there you go. Just copied, I scaled it. So just took this one and scaled it up by, this body was 2.5 and this one is 4, so that's how I did it. Take it easy. Thanks for watching.